Good afternoon, and thank you for joining in on our weekly program, Women's World. I'm Yasmin Bakir. I'll be filling in for my colleague Halal Hamalawi for this week. And of course, as you know, every week we bring for you a story of success for women. And that only proves how women can be very successful and can be multi-talented and can be able to manage many things together at one time. In this program today, we'll be shedding light about one of the successful stories for women in terms of past education, in terms of handling her work as well, and what she has learned and what she's willing to teach not only her children but the whole society with her experience that she's going to be sharing with us today. But first, let's go out for this very short break. When we come back with the news and all related to women, stay tuned. Well, let's take a look first by the Egyptian women who work for 68 hours weekly while men work for 53 hours. Very interesting piece of news. It talks about the Secretary General of the Economic Committee for the Egyptian Communist Party, Dr. Salwa Al-Attari, who said that women participate in Egypt's gross domestic product, GDP, while also providing services for her family. And she pointed out that a recent study have conducted 50,000 people across the country, which revealed that women work at 68 hours while men only work for 53 hours. In other news, women from Bahrain, and this time 3 Bahraini businesswomen win the International Award for Creativity. The news talks about the 3 Bahraini businesswomen who won an international award for entrepreneur creativity for their achievement in this field, and that is according to the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. In Saudi Arabia, women over there also are very impressive. Now, 80 Saudi women have prepared for municipal elections. 80 Saudi women are getting ready to compete for the municipal elections due to be held in 3 months' time. And this is the first time that women are allowed to participate in the political process while as a candidate or voters. Let's hope that they're also driving sometime this year. And over to women in Vietnam, and the Dang Le Yen is one of the pioneering businesswomen in Vietnam, and she's seen as a woman who had managed to win over men in the world of business after she had managed to establish her own infrastructure company, and she worked for the Vietnamese government for 13 years and then started establishing her own business, which is providing thousands of job opportunities around the world. These were the news for women across the world. Very interesting, exciting indeed. Now let's get over with the special profile for our guest today. Let's get to know who she is and why she's here. Welcome back again. Well, this is time for our exclusive interview with our very dear guest. She's also a colleague here in this field, particularly in this building. And she managed to achieve her PhD degree at a very shortly time. So we're going to know more about her through this profile story, and then we're going to kick off the interview. Stay tuned.
منك نتعلم انت معلم واحنا منك نتعلم نسكت وانت موجود ما نرضى نتكلم نسكت وانت موجود ما نرضى نتكلم انت معلم واحنا منك نتعلم
Welcome back again. Our guest today here in the studio is our colleague Dr. Iman. Maklad, أهلا وسهلا بحضرتك.
أهلا بك يا ياسمين.
Thank you. Welcome, Yasmin. We are so happy to have you here with us today in this program. And we would like to know more about you. For the women, they say it's enough for her to get a bachelor's degree because she is going to live for her family afterwards. You thought of continuing with your postgraduate studies and also to get your PhD. What encouraged you to take this step? First, I would like to thank you very much for inviting me to this program today. I would like to thank the director, Shireen Iraqi, the director of this program. We came to the television together and we were graduated in the same year. I know that you have hosted me as a case, a working woman, a mother, a wife, who got also a PhD. In fact, there is a secret for all these things and being able to strike balance between all these responsibilities, and it is my mother. If you are bringing an example for a working woman who was able to do this balance, I'm just the result of a woman who was fully aware of the potentials of her children, an encouraging mother, a father and a mother who used all the parental best practices in bringing up their children. And this made this issue to be the topic of my PhD thesis, because I talked about the parental methods in the Egyptian drama. So the secret word is mother and father. They drew the way for me. They were able to recognize my potentials and they put the goal for me and I followed it. Also, this is the result of the teacher who is able to know the potentials and the skills of her student. Great teachers taught me, who realized that the teaching process is not just to deliver the lesson, but to know the skills and the potentials of the student and to direct him to what suits him. I thank all my teachers in preparatory and secondary education because they said that I need to be a media professional. They used to wait for the day I would be in the radio of the school because they wanted to listen to me, and also the result of a lot of professors in my university who were well able to share their messages and their knowledge with us. Through all these things, and also not just being university professors, but being able also to support you, to motivate you, to enable you to be the active researcher who is always trying to satisfy them, because they use excellent methods to motivate us and they have a human aspect that I found in all these professors. I've seen a number of women who are great women. My mother, my teachers, the university professors, I learned a lot from all of them. When we come to think of going on with our postgraduate studies, we realize that this would take part of our time. It needs a lot of time and efforts, and this would be at the expense of a lot of things. I know that you have a husband and children, how you were able to strike the balance between all these responsibilities to achieve your goal, and also not to do it at the expense of the family. It is due to strong will, God's support, and that the mother would help you have principles since you are a young girl. My mother, for example, why I'm always going to mention my mother, because we are in a program about women. And a lot of working mothers watch this program, and these working mothers sometimes need to know how can they organize their work and their responsibilities, and how to help their children and organize the days of their children. My mother taught me to wake up early. When I started developing my PhD thesis, I found that when I wake up early, this is a day added to my day. When you wake up early, you have a lot of things you can do in the day. My day starts immediately after my children leave to school. I used to bring my books, my references, and start studying and developing my thesis. So it is also organizing the day between studying, the children, and also work. After organizing time and God's support, of course, comes the strong will that you want to achieve a certain objective. It's a long-term objective, a lot of years. The master's degree took me 3 years, and also my PhD thesis took me 3 years. So you have a goal that you need to implement by the end of these 3 years. So you need to divide this goal into smaller goals. For example, I would say by the end of this year, I need to finish this amount of my PhD thesis, and then I divide it in months. Every month I need to finish this and that. Dividing time motivates you, because whenever you finish a stage, you look at the coming stage, and by doing so you keep motivated and ready to go on doing your work. And also thanks to my professors, they were able to support me. That's why I talked about their humane aspect. They were so encouraging, and they were able to recognize the potentials of the researcher working with them. One of my professors said, Iman, if you won't finish your master's in the 6 months, then you are not Iman Maklad, because they knew the skills and the potentials of the researcher who's working with them. And Dr. Atimad Khalaf, the supervisor of my thesis, and Dr. Mona Gad also played a great role in encouraging me, and my mother also exerted a lot of effort. She helped me with the children so that I would have enough time to finalize my PhD thesis. So it's will and dividing time, and God's support, of course. God will take a break now and watch a short profile for you, and then we'll be back with the interview.
والعيلة حلوة والحب صافي وما خدش غلوة حبايبي اسمي طالعين في اسمي في الفرح جنبي وفي كل غلوة أنا اللي ناسي واقفين في ظهري بشد عودي وحسودي يهري أنا اللي ناسي واقفين في ظهري بشد عودي وحسودي يهري جربت أراهن على اللي مني خسرت دوري ضيعت ظهري اللمة حلوة والعيلة حلوة والحب صافي وما خدش غلوة دول اللي ليا خايفين عليا دول حتة مني وانا حتة منهم هعد 1 2 3 وانا ببساطة اموت عشانهم انا اللي ناسي واقفين في ضهري بشد عودي وحسودي يهري أنا اللي ناسي واقفين في ظهري بشد عودي حسودي يهري جربت أراهن على اللي مني خسرت دوري ضيعت ظهري اللمة حلوة والعيلة حلوة والحب صافي وما خدش غلوة اللمة حلوة والعيلة حلوة والحب صافي وما خدش غلوة.
Dr. Iman, you had a comment about this profile. My two kids, Nuruddin and Azzuddin, since we're talking about how I was able to arrange in time, we did not forget the skills and the talents of our children while I and Muhammad are preoccupied with our work and studying and focusing on it. Noor loves basketball and we did not neglect this. Izzeddin is a member in a lot of clubs and he loves football. And Muhammad exerts a lot of efforts in taking them to the club and for their training. And despite the occupations of the mother and the father, they should not neglect the talents of their children and focusing on helping them. Thank God we were able to do this with Noor and Aiz. Since we're talking about working in television, you are a director and a producer. I'm a director and producer for the second biggest talk show in Nile TV International, Bonjour l'Egypte. I'm working within a team, Ms. Raisa, Amir al-Fishawi. I'm the third producer for the program.
Okay, هناخد break.
We'll take a break and we'll be back.
صحابي من صغري دول اللي يمشوا معايا دغري دول أغلى ناس هم الأساس وأقول لكم إيه قضينا أجمل وقت في حياتنا دايبين في بعض بحكاياتنا وفرحتنا بلمتنا نروح ليه
Academic studies, be it a PhD or a master's degree, would help you in your field, or did your work help you with these studies? Because some people say that nothing has to do with that, but others say that this benefits from that. What about your experience? The beginning of my experience in academic studies was once I was graduated from the university. I joined the Artistic Criticism Institute in the Faculty of Arts, and I was supposed to go on, but afterwards I started focusing on media and not arts. This institute, the Artistic Criticism Institute, helped me a lot in helping me going on with my PhD and master's degree, because I had the major of drama, and I was able to study artistic criticism because in the institute I studied all types of arts, theater, drama, journalism, artistic production, plastic arts, music, all types of arts, even ballet. I studied all arts in the institute, and this had a great impact on my work now. And it also had a positive impact on preparing my PhD and master's thesis. In the Children Studies Institute, we deal with everything, we study everything. And there are a lot of theses talking about news, programs, talk shows. and all the different media fields. In fact, I focused mainly on drama so as to be able to go on with the line I started in the Artistic Criticism Institute that helped me in my work and in my master's and PhD, because my master's thesis was the parental methods in drama, and I talked about how the parents deal with the children, and I divided them between positive methods, negative methods, what are the changes and the developments and the elements that impact the way of the parents deal with their children, and how this was shown in drama. As for my PhD, I talked in my thesis about a totally different thing, which is the political, factual status quo of Egypt before the revolution of 25 as seen by the people, and how the youth, especially in the universities, dealt with this. And it was also analysis of the content and the form and the impact of both of them on each other. Our colleague Dr. Iman Maklad, we are glad to have you here with us. Thank you for being with us today, and good luck. Of course, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much for having me today with you.
This brings us to the end of our episode for this week's program of Women's World. I'm Yasmin Bakir, again filling in for my colleague Hala Al-Hamalawi. Hope you enjoyed the successful story of a very successful woman. Stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.
مبروك يا حياة قلبي، مبروك 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 يا حياة قلبي، مبروك هالفرحة فرحتنا والفرحة جمعتنا، وشو حلو